Everyone, welcome back to Books, Crafts, and Planning. My name is Anne, and I have a bit of a book haul for you. Give me 1 minute to close my bedroom door. Apologize if you hear my dogs. You should not hear my kids. One of them is at BBS, one of them is sick in bed. My husband is in the office. So I recently just got back from Texas on Tuesday. That whole flight experience was a nightmare. But I did get some books while I was there. Most of these came from either Goodwill, Half Price Books, or from my sister with ones that she was getting rid of. I will try to remember to tell you where I got them from. And let's just get into it. First book we got, this one I got at Goodwill. It's called Hang on the Moon by Jeanette Walls. I've never heard of this author before, but it sounded interesting. It says Sally Kincaid is the daughter of the biggest man in a small town. Born at the turn of the century into a life of comfort and privilege, Sally remembers little about her mother, who died in a violent argument with her father, the charismatic Duke Kincaid. When Duke remarries and has a son, Sally tries to teach him to be as bold and resourceful as her father, and as Sally herself, but her daredevil coaching leads to an accident. To something, her stepmother, the Duke, casts Sally out of the big house and out of town. Sally returns at 17, determined to reclaim her place in the family riddled with secrets. This is a Prohibition-era Virginia. Women have won the right to vote, but their lives haven't changed. Slavery is over and lynching is not. Right and wrong don't always square up with legal and illegal. Sally navigates the factions in the town and within her own family to forge her own path. Her journey is a wild ride. Sounded interesting. I think I got it for a couple bucks. Next one I got, which I realize is, I think, number 3 in the series. I'm trying to find the other one, is One Last Chance by Kate Martin. This one says, former Green Beret Edge Logan has made a new life for himself in Nighthawk security in Denver, using his finely honed skills to neutralize threats of all kinds when he overhears friend and fellow agent Sky Delaney discussing a new case involving her missing sister and mysterious cult. He offers himself as backup with her own military background. Sky is gusty and more than capable, but a cult-like Children of the Sun is too risky for anyone to investigate alone. I don't need to know any more cult missing kids. This one I got at Ollie's for $4. I actually bought 2 of these, gave one to my sister so that we could read them together. It's called Blind Tiger by Sandra Brown. Thatcher Hutton, a war-weary soldier on the way back to his cowboy life, jumps from a moving freight train to avoid trouble and lands in more than he bargained for. One day he arrives in Foley, Texas. A local woman goes missing. Thatcher, the only stranger in town, is suspected of her abduction, and worse. Standing between him and exoneration are a corporate mayor, a crooked sheriff, a notorious cat house madame, a sly bootlegger, feuding moonshiners, and a young widow whose soft features conceal an iron will. What's supposed to be a fresh start for Laura Plummer turns to tragedy. Left destitute but determined to dictate her future, Laura plunges into the lucrative regional industry, much to the dislike of the good old boys who have ruled supreme. Her success quickly makes her a target for cutthroat competitors whose only code of law is reprisal. As violence erupts, Laura and now Deputy Thatcher find themselves on opposite sides of the moonshine war where blood flows as freely as whiskey. Again, if you've watched my videos, you know that Sandra Brown is hit or miss for me, so we'll see about this one. The next one I got is Reckoning by Catherine Coulter. Again, I got this one at Goodwill, and I've read a few of her books. I found you don't need to read these in order. I think this is like number 17. It says when she was 12 years old, Kara's parents were murdered and she barely escaped with her life 14 years later. Kara is a Commonwealth attorney back home in Port Franklin, Virginia, and her goal is to find out who killed her parents and why. She assumes the identity of E.N. Elliot Ness and gathers proof to break down the man she believes was behind her parents' death. She quickly learns big-time criminals are very dangerous and realizes she needs Dylan Savici's help. Savici brings in Special Agent Griffin Hammersmith to work with Lieutenant Jeter Thrope, the young detective who saved Kara years before. And then it goes on to say Emma Hunt, a piano prodigy and their granddaughter of powerful crime boss Mason Lord, was only 6 years old when she was abducted. Then she was saved by her adoptive father, a San Francisco federal judge Ramsey Hunt, now a 12-year-old with a black belt in Taekwondo, she nearly saved herself from a would-be kidnapper at Davies Hall in San Francisco. So again, I've read a few about hers, so we'll see what about this one. The next one I actually got two of these. I have never read these, but I used to watch Murder, She Wrote with my grandmother. So as I fall, this one is called Killer on the Court. It says Jessica is delighted working with Grady, invites her to spend a few days with his family. In an oceanside New York bungalow, she packs her bags and heads down to the city, ready to spend some quality time with Grady, his wife Donna, and their young son Frank. But the morning after Jessica's arrival, Donna finds her boss Jason Cortland dead on a tennis court, and Jessica's dreams of relaxing visit are quashed. Everyone in the small beachside community is a suspect. The local authorities, headed by an old colleague of Cabot Cove, Sheriff Moore, have asked that no one leave town to bring the killer to justice. Jessica will have to dig deep into the Cortland family business and uncover secrets long buried by the sands of time. Again, I got these at Goodwill. Next one is Debonair in Death, and it says when Nelson Penzel, co-owner of a shop in downtown, is murdered, the nail tech from Jessica Fletcher's favorite beauty parlor is the main suspect. After all, she's the one who ran out of the store screaming, covered in blood, and holding the murder weapon. Jessica is positive that despite the circumstances, Corrine can't possibly be guilty and is determined to prove it. So we'll see how they are. I think it's 54 and 55 in series. Odds of finding the first 53 are slim to none because this one was published in 2021. So maybe I could. The other one was 2022, so maybe I can. The next one, I got this one from my sister. This one is called The Sisters of Resistance by Christina Wells. France, 1944, the Nazis still occupy Paris, and 25-year-old Gabby hates these enemies, though, as the concierge of 10 Rue Royal. She makes it a point to avoid trouble, until she, like her sister, is recruited into the resistance by Catherine Dorr, sister of the fashion designer Christian Dorr. Gabby and Yvette are both then swept into the war of spies, fugitives, and resistant workers, and it doesn't take long for the sisters to realize that their lives are in danger. I don't need to know anymore. It's I believe this would be a World War II about spies. Again, I don't need to know anymore. I love books about World War II and one spies. The next one I got, I believe, is a third in the series. I got this one at Half Price Books. It's called The Hand of Fate by Liz Wheel with April Henry. It says outspoken radio talk show host Jim Fate dies tragically when poisonous gas fills the studio while his polarizing show, The Hand of Fate, is on air. They call themselves a triple threat, three best friends who are uniquely qualified to crack the case. FBI Special Agent Nicole Hedges, crime reporter Cassie Shaw, and federal prosecutor Allison Pierce, but all three remain hiding secrets, and one just might be a suspect in Fate's murder. So we'll see. I'm gonna try and find the first two because, like I said, I believe this is number 3 in this series. The next one I got, again, this is from my sister. It's A Frontier Christmas by William W. Johnston. I'm not going to read the back of this one. There are, I believe, like I said, 9 in the series. You don't have to read these in order. I have read, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 of them. They follow the Jensen family around Christmas time and stuff like that. The next one I got this from my mom. Said You'll Get Through This by Max Lucado. This is basically just like a Christian fiction, how to get through stuff. So I'm not quite sure when I'll start this or if I'll blog it or what. And then here's a picture of me and my grandmother, Lord rest her soul. She passed away in October of 2023. I have to tell my mom that picture's in there because I thought I left it there. The next book I got is Because You're Mine by Colleen Coble. I have read one book by her. I don't remember what it was right off the top of my head. My sister told me to read it. Let me see if she has a list of her books, and I can tell you which one it was. It was, I want to say it was The Inn at Ocean's Edge, which I really liked. This one says, when her husband Lim is killed by a car bomb while their Celtic band is on tour in Charleston, singer and Irish beauty Alana doesn't quite know where to turn. Her father-in-law is threatening to take custody of the baby she carries, but Alana knows she can't lose the only piece of limbs she has left, Alana's manager offers her a marriage of convenience to obtain U.S. citizenship and allow her to escape her father-in-law's control. It seems like the perfect solution until she arrives at the family home of her new husband, a decaying mansion with more questions than answers. Strange things begin happening that threaten Alana's life and the life of her child. Are they merely coincidences, or is something more sinister at work? So we'll see. I think I got this one at Half Price Books. The next one I got from my sister. It's called The Sisters of War by Lena Korchik. I read I believe it was Daughters of the Resistance with my sister a few years ago, and this is the duology, if you will. It says Kyiv, 1941, watching the Red Army withdraw from Ukraine in the face of Hitler's relentless advance. Sisters Natasha and Lisa realize their lives are about to change forever as the German army occupies their beloved city. The sisters are tested in ways they never thought possible. Lisa's fiance Alexia is taken by the invading army, while Natasha falls in love with Mark, a Hungarian soldier enlisted against all his principles on the side of the Nazis. But as Natasha and Lisa fight to protect the friends they hold dear, they must face up to the dark horrors of war. Will they be strong enough to overcome the forces which threaten to tear their family apart? So we'll see. I love a good historical fiction. The next one I got was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I have never read the actual Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have read the manga. I think this one was like a couple bucks on the clearance rack. Or excuse me, I got this one at Goodwill. I think this one was actually either half off or it was 99 cents. They were having a sale while I was there. So I'm kind of excited to get to it and see, what it's about. So I'm not really going to read the back because we all know Pride and Prejudice Zombies. The next one is Lisa Gardner, The Perfect Husband. I got this one at Half Price Books as well. It says Jim Bucket was everything she'd ever dreamed of, but 2 years after Tess married the decorated cop and bore his child, she helped put him behind bars for savagely murdering 10 women. Even locked up in a maximum security prison, he vowed he would come after her and make her pay. Now the cunning killer has escaped, and the most dangerous game of all begins. After a lifetime of fear, Tess will do something she's never done before. She's going to learn to protect her daughter and fight back with the help of a burned-out ex-Marine. So this kind of reminds me of the movie Enough, I believe it was, with Jennifer Lopez. Not Jennifer Lopez. Was Jennifer Lopez? Yes, Jennifer Lopez. So kind of, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's got large print, so we'll see. And my camera shifts. My cat Willow is currently down here moving around. The next one, I got this one from my mom. Realized it's book 7, so I'm gonna have to try to find the other ones. I don't quite know if you have to read these in order. It's called The Virginia City Trial by Ralph Compton. With hopes of building a raging empire in Montana, Nelson's story sets off on one of the most extraordinary journeys in frontier history. By his side are a bunch of misfits and renegades, hard-fighting, war-bitten Texans with nothing left to lose. On his tail are the worst kind of enemies, brutal outlaws fixing to bleed his trail dry. I don't need to know anything else. It's about Texas. That's where I was born and raised. So we'll give it a shot. The next one, I believe, is the second in the crew of hunters or the Harrison investigators. So really excited to get this one. Again, I got this at Half Price Books. I think I paid full price for this one. I'm not sure. So there's that one. The next one I got, Chesapeake Blue. I wrote by Noel Roberts. I realize this is number 4. Again, we will find it. It says Seth Quinn is finally home. It's been a long journey after a hurrying boyhood with his drug-addicted mother. He was taken in by the Quinn family and grew up with 3 older brothers who watched over him with love. Now a grown man returning from Europe as a successful painter. Seth is settling down on Maryland's eastern shore, surrounded by Kieran, Ethan, and Philip once again, and their wives and kids. All the blessed chaos of the extended Quinn clan. Finally, he's back in the little blue and white house where there's always a boat, the dog, a rock on the porch, and a dog in the yard. I don't need to know anymore. I'm probably going to see if I can find the other 3. Then the next one I got is Endgame by David Baldecki. Again, I realize this is number 3 or 4 in the series. Again, with these, I don't know if you have to read them in order. So if you have to read Chesapeake Blue series, Virginia City Trial, or David Baldecki, let me know. says Will Robbie and Jessica Real, the two of the most lethal people alive, they're the ones that government calls in when the utmost secrecy is required to take out those who plot violence and mass destruction against the United States. And through every mission, one man has always had their backs. Their handler code name Blue Man. I don't need to know anymore. It sounds really good. The next one I got at Goodwill. This is called The Queen Bee by Dorothy Bitten Frank. And it says, got to show the front. Beekeeper Holly McJensen quietly lives in a world of her own civilian's island, tending her hives and working at the local island library. Holly calls her mother the Queen Bee because she's demanding hawk of woman. Her mother might be a devoted hypochondriac, but that doesn't stop her from tormenting Holly. To escape the drama, Holly's sister Leslie married and moved away, wanting little to do with island life. Holly's escape is to submerge herself in the lives of two boys next door and their widowed father, Archie. Her world is upended when the more flamboyant Leslie returns and both sisters, polar opposites, fixate on what's happening in their neighbor's home. Is Archie really in love with that awful, cold-hearted woman? If Archie marries her, what will become of his little boys? Restless Leslie is determined, desperate for validation after her employed marriage, squandering her favors on Amy and all takes. Their mother ups her game in an uproarious and theatrical downward spiral. Scandalous Holly is talking to her honeybees a mile a minute, as though they will give her the solution to all the chaos. Maybe they will. And on the inside, it's got honeycombs, which I thought was really cool. And then the last and final one that I got is called We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lane. When 29-year-old Sunday Brennan wakes up in Los Angeles hospital bruised and battered after a drunk driving accident, she swallows her pride and goes home to her family in New York, but it's not easy. She deserted them all and her high school sweetheart 5 years before with little explanation, and they've got questions. Sunday is determined to rebuild her life back on the East Coast, even if it does mean tiptoeing around resentful brothers and an ex-fiancé. The longer she stays, however, the more she realizes they need her just as much as she needs them. When a dangerous man from her past brings her family's pub business to the brink of financial ruin, the only way to protect the Brennans is to upend all their secrets that have damaged the family for generations and will threaten everything they know about their lives. In the aftermath, the Brennans are forced to confront painful mistakes and ultimately find a way forward together. I think this was like $5. So that is all I got. I'm now going to figure out where to put them on my shelves because, as you can see, just based off my white shelf, I have little to no room. I am thinking about getting rid of a few that have been sitting on my shelf for a while that I don't want to read. If you like this video, I hope you hit the subscribe button. If you want to see more of my videos, I do plan to do a TBR video here within the next week. I did not do one for June just because I was traveling. I think the next book I'm going to pick up is Third Degree by James Patterson because I never finished it. And then if I have time, I'll probably do the fourth one in that series just to kind of, so I don't have to do too much and not have a whole long list of books to finish before July comes. So with that being said, I will see you on the next video. Bye.